So I had a mixed feeling with this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden. On one half, it was just kind of like, alright, it's a written test, they're just kind of leading into and then ultimately getting into the actual exams of the tuning exams, part 2, so to speak, or whatever. So it was just kind of like giving us some stuff that wasn't really the most grand thing or whatever, the creme de la creme that we've seen and whatnot. But then at the same time, it kind of did give me that nostalgia buzz, and it really was reminiscent of the first exams, although it was a little bit different, of course, whatever. But it definitely gave me like a mixed vibe. It was like, okay, yeah, I mean, ideally none of us is like dying to see them writing on paper and all this other shit. Then at the same time, it did feel like those classic moments when, they were trying to take the exam in part 1. Although the one major thing I would definitely say is that it's missing the key factor that made those exams really interesting and exciting. And that's Naruto himself. Like, honestly, the name is Naruto Shippuden, and yet we don't really have him. And I think that's why they try to shoehorn little elements of him into it, even in the very beginning. It's like, yeah, Konohamaru, he used the jutsu or whatever so that he can look like Naruto or whatever, just so that we can have something, because I think they realize that Naruto, it's called Naruto Shippuden, should be in here or whatever, so that's probably why they're trying to shoehorn, even if it's a small appearance, whatever the case may be, of Naruto actually in each and every episode. Like we saw him training in the last episode, and then this episode we got that little Konohamaru jutsu or whatever of him trying to beat Naruto. So that's definitely their attempt at keeping Naruto relevant in his own series at the moment, because, he's not technically a part of these exams. The beginning bits with Konohamaru and whatnot, at the end of the day, it was alright. That's probably what Konohamaru would have done or whatever, but I honestly wish at some given point we would see Konohamaru's turn, where it's like they go, his generation, have the tuning exam and see how that kind of turns out. We've seen like an OVA of it or whatever, but that was like, not canon or whatever. And this isn't canon technically either, but it was just like some random OVA that we've seen where he took the tuning exams. I would definitely like to get a more serious take on when Konohamaru ultimately does it, but this episode, for the most part, it was like, it was reminiscent of the original exams. That's the best way I could put it. We have them trying to use different tricks or whatever. Shikamaru shook things up a little bit as far as like the procedure, but it just kind of felt like they're just taking exams, honestly. Like, you have people yelling, and a big chunk of the episode was them figuring out like averages, and honestly, for a little bit I was just kind of like, holy shit, I'm about to pass out, where they're like, so 30 plus 40 plus 30 equals 100, you gotta get the average, you can't go over the average, you can't go in. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, can we stop with the fucking math, please? You're driving me nuts. Although it was kind of nice to see some of the shinobi that we actually legitimately care about using strategy or whatever to do what they gotta do. And yeah, just a very brief review this week. At the end of the day, art and animation wasn't, anything special. They are trying to focus a little bit more on Fu, and I think they're trying to sell it like, ooh, look at Fu. And I'm a little bit interested in Fu. I'm not the most excited about Fu, whatever. At the end of the day, I would like to see more and see, what's up. And it's just really a shame that we didn't get stuff like this early on with the Jinchuriki. I really wish that we would have explored more of the Jinchuriki. If we could go back in time and change one thing, I definitely would wish that Kishimoto would have made part 1 a lot longer and include like, an arc with each Jinchuriki or something. Maybe Naruto had to go from village to village to meet all of them, and then eventually having their fates being grim would have made it a lot darker and made it a lot more serious. So that's something I wish they would have done early on, because we see Fu and it's like, fuck, we know Fu's fate. But yeah, this episode overall, it was just kind of like, we got 40 plus 30 plus 20 plus 20. I was like, come on, bro, you're killing me. So maybe like a 5 to a 6. It gave me nostalgia, and it was interesting to see, how they maneuver things and how they've, I guess, grown since the last exam of trying to, use tricks or whatever to ultimately pass. But yeah, not the most exciting. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. How did you feel about the exams? Did it give you that buzz of part 1? And were you just like, oh my god, stop the math when you got to that bit? And your overall thoughts of this episode. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be amazing. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.